back to the Road Show this morning in the Buzz. It's not a warm and fuzzy topic today. I'm getting all fired up. All fired up? The alarm. I know. Okay, I'm going to calm down. All right. Mark Twain, we're talking about his classic book, Huckleberry Finn. It was defined as a book which people praise and don't read. Well, these days, a lot of schools are avoiding one of his greatest works, The Adventures of Huck Finn, because it does contain some offensive language in it. So one man says he's going to put out a new version that actually cleans up some of Twain's original words. Mark Twain scholar Alan Gribben is publishing a new edition of Twain's classic without the N-word, and he's replacing it with the word slave. Now, in the entire book, Mark Twain deliberately uses the N-word more than 200 times to spotlight 19th century racism. It may sound like a nice idea, but a lot of people disagree, saying that the word did serve a purpose at the time. Take a look.
We have to have the discussion about it. We can't skate over it. If you're going to move forward, there's going to be some agitation, right? You want to make sure that you're going to kind of disturb the equilibrium at least a little bit, or else there's not going to be any growth.
Now, the book was controversial right from its first printing back in 1885, but a lot of people are saying that is the point. I heard an interesting comment from somebody who absolutely disagrees about removing it, who basically said, you know, if you're going to remove the N-word from this book, you're going to have to remove, you know, the Holocaust from Anne Frank. You know, rewriting history, opening up a very dangerous can of worms. That's my opinion anyway. What do you guys think about the removal of the N-word?
I don't think it's right. I mean, I understand because maybe they're trying to promote younger kids to read it and maybe they feel it's sort of offensive, but I mean, that's how it was during the time. And you can't really dispute the fact, you know, Mark Twain purposely put the N-word clearly over 200 times throughout the entire book. And, you know, he did it to really emphasize. And the whole story about Huck Finn and riding down the rafts and with this, this black man as well. So I think it's, you know, there are some undertones of, okay, even though that there is all of this racial tension going on, there's still a way to, you know, move past it.
Maybe we should rewrite the Bible and the Constitution to make it fit into the 21st century as well. I mean, you know, it is. I agree with both of you that I think it's crazy. And Mark Twain himself must be rolling over in his grave right now because, and I'll quote here an article, he says, Twain himself did not take kindly to editing. When he discovered a printer had made punctuation changes to one of his books, he wrote that he had, quote, given orders for the typesetter to be shot without giving him time to pray. So you know how Mark Twain would feel about this if he knew somebody was rewriting his book.
Here's the other question about, like, putting, you know, the book in schools. I think it just, you know, for people to say, well, we're not going to use it because of the racial slurs. Agreeably, it is not appropriate to use that word today. I think no one would argue that fact. However, it, you know, like the man in that soundbite was saying, you know, it just it forces you to have the discussion about racism, about the history of racism, and how we've evolved.
Well, did you see the color of the man's skin that said it should stay in there?
I know, exactly.
I mean, so I don't think we're... I mean, of course the word is offensive. I mean, it's terrible, and no one should ever use it, but I don't think that this book's going to be read by a bunch of third graders. No, you know, it's going to be read by kids that have probably heard the word before. Listen to a rap song, okay? You want to... You think Huck Finn's offensive? Listen to some of those songs if you turn on some of that hip-hop crap.
And the way that Mark Twain is using this language is appropriate for the time, and he's doing it, like I said, to describe the time, and it's part of history.
I think a lot of people are going to agree that this watered-down, changed version of history, it's not the same book. I mean, Courtney, I don't know what people are saying about it on the live blog, but I would imagine people are probably disagreeing with it.
Everybody is. I literally have been combing through Facebook, the live blog. I cannot find one person who agrees with this change. So if you do, feel free to come on the live blog and we can chat about it. We'll be here till about 9 o'clock. But let's head there first on foxprovidence.com. And Aaron says, why change a classic now after all these years? It gives you a true idea of how things were then. Leave it the way it is. And then Joe B says, leave the book the same as it was when it was written. And who does this guy think he is to change history? Shame on him. Here's the poll right underneath the live blog. Should the N-word be removed from the revised book of Huckleberry Finn? Choices are A, yes, it'll encourage more to read it. B, no, the original language is essential. And we have so many comments on our Facebook page. Lots of new friends also joining us there. And Robert Calcione says the N-word should stay in the book. The book is part of Twain's life work. Where does this man even get the idea he has the right to change it? He said, here's an idea. If you don't like the book, don't read it. And Brian Bowden says, after we take the N-word out of Mark Twain, let's rewrite Romeo and Juliet so that they both live at the end. And then Greg Silva says, you can't change a classic because then, well, it's not a true classic anymore. So if you have lots to say, you can join us on Facebook or the live blog. I'll have those poll results for you in about 30 minutes for now. Into the kitchen with the